Hello, everybody, and welcome to our first Black Edition live event, Kicking It with Kicker. I have everyone want to introduce themselves.
I'm Aaron Malin, Kicker Tech Force. That's
Ken Bundy, Kicker Tech Force. And this is
Carlos Jimenez, Kicker Tech Force. Aquí para ayudar.
Okay, everybody, and I'm Layman Snyder, the video producer / host here at Black Edition. So let's get things started. So how are you guys doing today?
feeling great. Excited about the opportunity. Thank you, Layman.
Absolutely. We're so happy to have you guys with us. So I guess we'll start things off with, summer is here and, people are starting to work on their cars. How busy are you guys doing right now?
Shockingly busy. We expected after March that things would dramatically drop off, but we've been having incredible sales right now. And a big part of it is do-it-yourselfers. Guys, girls going online, purchasing Kicker products and installing it themselves because a lot of local shops have been shut down for a while. So we're seeing some really good stuff coming out of the do-it-yourselfer category.
Excellent, excellent. I know a lot of people, I'm sure, are anxious to get out and drive this summer. What's been hot for you guys right now? Like, what are the new products that people are really kind of keen on right now?
Ken, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I can talk about it. New for 2020, we have some down-firing subwoofer enclosures. So for those of you that are familiar with our product line, last year we had a Comp RT, like a wedge-shaped truck box with one active subwoofer and then a matching size bass reflex subwoofer. We've come out with a different design that's now a down-firing enclosure. So it's great to put in maybe underneath the seat of a back seat of a crew cab pickup, or you could actually put it in the back of an SUV. The box itself is reinforced, so we encourage you to go ahead and stack stuff on top of the box. The idea being, of course, they're very rugged and you don't really give up any utility of your vehicle. You're not giving up any usable space. You can still throw your luggage, your golf clubs, your groceries, or whatever right on top of the box, and you won't have any worries about sacrificing to have great bass in the vehicle. So that's been really good with us this season. I also wanted to tack on to what Aaron said. We've been so incredibly busy. We've had up to 700 calls and emails into our tech support per week since COVID kind of started. That's like quadruple what we normally get. So that DIY customer that Aaron's talking about, they're hot and heavy at it. They're at it strong. So it's been real busy. Carlos, you want to add some stuff?
I would just say that including, tech support calls, customer service calls, I think that's what a lot of us have been dealing with more than anything because of so many calls. I mean, I don't know if you just heard that ding right now. I keep getting dings as we're doing this from customers. So it's a really good thing for us.
Excellent, excellent. Now, have you guys had any production delays or any shipping delays due to COVID, or?
That's a great question because I know a lot of our competitors in our industry, and we say competitors because they're competitive products, but really we have great respect for the brands we compete with because it's a small industry. We need each other to be successful. But a lot of our competitors have not had product in the supply chain before this happened, so they were running out early on. And Kicker is a very conservative company, so we keep a huge stock in supply here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. We've got a 200,000 square foot facility here, and we had it stocked to the gills before everything shut down. So we've had a great supply of product throughout most of this. Now, have some things run out? Yeah, of course, like down-firing enclosures Ken was mentioning. Those things ran out pretty fast because they were already hot sellers and moving. So, but we've had really good supply, so it's been great. And in fact, we just launched 2 new products this week and then a couple of weeks ago. The new Key Smart bass amplifier and the Key LOC intelligent line output converter. So we've actually been launching some new hot products for this summer season.
Excellent, excellent. And you were mentioning the down-firing sub. We did do a video where we had a customer had installed in the back of their Mustang, and that fit perfectly in there because I know Mustang people, there's not a lot of room in those trunks as it is.
No, there's not.
The customer is extremely happy with that. One of the items that we've had a lot of calls about and a lot of questions about, of course, is the Hideaway subwoofer you guys got. That seems to be was it the H10, I believe?
HS10, yeah.
That is an incredible little product. You want to tell people about that?
Let me take this one because I personally have an HS8, I drive a Mazda CX-5, like half the other world, and I have an HS8 in there. And when we were first putting this HS10 in development, I popped one in because it uses the same power harness, same connection, everything. So I took out my 8, put in the 10, clicked it in, and all of a sudden my rear view mirror was vibrating. So the 8 has been awesome for years, but the 10 actually has more visceral impact than the 8. So it's absolutely a step up from the 8 to have that 10. And oh my gosh, what a hot product. And I'm not going to tell you exact numbers, but we sell so many of the 8s because it fits in so many applications. And I like to say that's the subwoofer for the consumer who doesn't know they want a subwoofer. Because it's kind of like when you have a home theater in a box or a sound bar hanging beneath your TV. When you buy a sound bar, they all come with a little subwoofer. Well, that little subwoofer doesn't look like much, but it gives you the full experience of the movies and the music that you're listening to. And that's what the HS8 does for your car. It just fills out the bottom end of a factory installed system. So it's an incredible upgrade for people who don't even know they want an upgrade.
Yeah, and for those that are familiar with the HS8, I do want to stress that the HS10 is marginally larger. We're talking less than 5% larger than the HS8. So obviously we knew the HS8's selling point was that it's small and can fit anywhere, but we haven't forgotten that with the HS10.
Good point.
I want to add on to that it's going to work in a lot more vehicles now because of the upgrades that we've done to them. So they're going to work for more higher end vehicles that use factory amplification. So someone like my father who loves good music, but he's just used to talk radio because it's not fun anymore. So now he puts an HS8, HS10 in there, and guess what? Now my mom's getting pretty upset. She's like, you got to turn that stuff down. So it's for everybody.
Excellent, excellent. And what's big in, we talked about subwoofers a little bit. What about speakers? What's really big right now with speakers?
We've got a brand new line of KS speakers. So our KS line has been completely revised, different cone materials, silk dome tweeters. We now have some new sizes. We have a 2 3/4 inch size. So that's going to be great. The Jeep JL was really kind of the vehicle that we went after when we made that size. So those rear sound bars in the Jeep JL, we now offer a drop-in replacement. It's a 2 3/4 with factory fit brackets that come along with it. On the note of factory fit brackets, now our most popular sizes like the 6.5 inch coax or the 6x9, et cetera, those are going to come with factory adapters as well. So now if you just buy the regular KS set of component or coaxial speakers, you're going to get some vehicle specific adapters so to make sure that they drop right in to those most popular vehicles out there. Really great set of speakers. They sound amazing. They always have, of course, but we've now kind of really dialed them in even further.
All right, we have a question here from Caddy. How easy is it for the average customer to install a subwoofer on their car?
Ken is a master installer, so I'm going to let Ken take this.
No, I wouldn't call myself a master by any stretch of the imagination. However, I don't think it's too terribly difficult for the average customer. If you do feel that you're unsure of things, obviously everybody YouTubes it, right? Everybody gets on YouTubes and they look up how to DIY, installing a garbage disposal or putting in a water pump on their car or whatever it might be. So you can definitely do that. You should be able to stumble your way through it pretty well. But if you are unsure about it, don't be afraid to seek out a professional. You'd be surprised at how little a lot of places would charge to make sure it's done properly. And then most, any dependable retailer is going to give you a lifetime labor warranty on it also. So if you do have an issue 3 months from now, 6 months from now, you're not spending your entire weekend trying to troubleshoot what you messed up. You can just take it to the professional and let them take care of it.
Excellent, excellent. All right, we got another question in. What is the advantage of a square subwoofer? And will Kicker be coming out with a 3-way compote set in the Key West line?
Carlos, it's your turn.
Yeah, Carlos, I'll do the diagram for you.
All right, so square woofer, you're going to push a little bit more air than a round woofer. So that would be the advantage. Obviously, that's what Kicker is known for. The square woofer, one thinks iconically, the square woofer is iconic with Kicker. Will we be coming out with a 3-way component for QS? Not right now, but we will be. We can look at that. I think there's things that have been talked about, but no information right now.
Okay. Now, almost the same question for I'm sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there. What about amplifiers right now? I actually was just in the process of doing a new video for one of your Q amps. What would be the good recommendation for an amplifier for your average car?
When you say average car, you talking about a subwoofer amplifier, or mids and highs, or all of the above?
Well, I mean, okay, say someone's just kind of wants to do like a slight upgrade versus the monster upgrade. Like which amps would you recommend for like just the basic? I just put in like a couple of speakers and a small sub.
So, okay, so just a basic, maybe front speakers and a subwoofer kind of thing. So I like the 5-channel amplifier myself because with a 5-channel, you've got some flexibility built in. So for example, if you're starting with a front component system and a single sub, you take our KXA 800.5 and you can run 2 channels to just your tweeters, 2 more channels to just your mid-ranges to do a fully active system with electronic crossover, and then you got the sub-channel on board to run your subwoofer. So you've got a fully active 5-speaker, 5-channel system, and it's going to sound amazing, clear at low and high volumes, and it's really simple to dial in. And the installation actually is very simple as well because you don't have passive crossovers you have to mount or locate or find a place to put them. So I would go with a 5-channel amp for a starter system.
Okay. Now tell me about the Q amps.
So for the Q class, that's our premium. That is our DSP, digital signal processor onboard amplifier line. And man, the Q line started out probably five or 6 years ago now. We were way ahead of things when we put that DSP on board the Q series. And there's so many advantages to it. First of all, you don't need a separate offboard processor because all the processing is in the amplifier. So it's fewer boxes to install. And the Q series also has a wireless interface. So I can use my iPhone or my Android device or an iPad, and I can control the amplifier's DSP and music streaming right from my device with the wireless IQI setup. And in the amplifier, you've got digital signal processing, which includes your equalization for all channels independent. You've got time correction, and time correction is just so that you can simulate sitting in the middle of the car, like in a home theater system. In a home theater, you don't sit next to the left speaker, you sit right between the speakers. And so we can do that electronically in a car with the DSP that's on board. And another, a sneaker feature, it actually has the ability to limit the output to the speakers to prevent damage. So if you're like me, and on a Friday afternoon, you're just done with it, and you start turning the volume up on the way home, it actually will limit the output to the speakers so you don't damage them when you get a little crazy with the volume knob. So the Q class is just an unbelievable product at a reasonable price point.
Now, would you recommend that being professionally installed? Because I know like it's mostly the tuning. Now, if I got the tuner myself and I said I'm going to start messing with this, I don't know what I would do. It probably would not sound anywhere close because I don't have that good of an ear.
Ken, again, master installer.
I guess I don't understand the question entirely.
Like, if would you recommend someone personally like tuning in the Q amp, like installing that, because that seems like a bit more than an average person.
It absolutely is. So, I mean, I don't want to draw any conclusions, but your average customer is probably not familiar with DSP whatsoever. So they're not probably familiar with how to set their EQ curve or what time correction even is, let alone how to set it properly in a car. So that's probably going to be a professional realm that I'd recommend. It's totally doable for the the enthusiast, somebody that really truly does their own research and can do it. Yeah, absolutely. You can plug in a laptop and do it, or you can do it wirelessly with your smart device via the IQ interface, IQI.
Yeah, like we usually our sales manager Scott. He's usually the one out there tuning the amps before they leave the shop here. So because now if someone then like has it tuned and then brought it home, like to make little adjustments, stuff like that, would that greatly affect things? Like, would they mess things up if they made so many adjustments?
Sure. So absolutely. At the end of the day, it's the customer's car, and whatever they think sounds best is generally what you should roll with. So if they want to adjust 1 or 2 or 3 EQ sliders or all of the EQ sliders to really dial it into their personal taste, I would obviously encourage that. I mean, it's their money, it's their vehicle. They're the one that has to listen to it every day. But as far as really messing something up, no, not at all. In addition to that, I wanted to stress that the IQ devices, the IQ amplifiers, you can save all those settings into a file that you can store on your laptop. So if by chance the customer or yourself or whoever, if you end up messing something up, you can then go back to square one, load that initial file that the installer did for you, and you're back rocking and rolling just like you left.
All right. And we brought on somebody else here. You want to, Dr. 12 Volt?
Yeah.
You say hi?
That's one of our trainers, John Myers. John, can we hear you?
Yes, I hope you can hear me. Sorry, it would not let me sign on via the laptop. I had to pull out my phone. So I apologize for being late to the party, but I have been listening the whole time.
Yeah, your audio is extremely quiet and your video is frozen. Maybe we can have you man the chat box.
Great. Yeah, whatever you need me to do.
All right. We have another question from Caddy. Now, how long does a system upgrade take to install?
So it's going to depend greatly on obviously what you're getting done. If you're just having maybe just a subwoofer installed, just a basic installation, 90 minutes, just a ballpark. It really depends on how custom you want to get with it. If you're installing a full system, maybe just 4 door speakers and a subwoofer, an amplifier on all those 4 door speakers as well. It could be 4, 5, 6 hours depending on the vehicle. And if you're going to do sound deadening and proper door treatment, it could be a 2-day job. So it can vary wildly.
Wonderful. So do you guys have anything in the works and development that you can share with everybody? I know usually things are a little top secret when they're still being worked on, but is there anything that people can kind of look forward to?
Well, as you already said, Layman, we can't really talk about the future because, well, it's the future. And so just a quick background on Kicker. We have about 200 employees, and the largest department at Kicker is research and development. So we've got about roughly 30 or so engineers and support staff for the engineers. And so we are constantly in development of products. And as Ken said earlier, the KS speaker line, that is basically a new speaker line. It's not just a rebadged or new paint on the speaker. That's a totally new speaker line. And it takes about a year to refresh a speaker line, because you think of all the SKUs. You've got a 1-inch tweeter all the way to a 6x9 and everything in between, plus crossovers. So just to do one speaker line can take a year. Now, if you look at the L7T, the thin square subwoofer, that is a 2-year process to go from nothing to a full SKU, 8s, 10s, 12s. And so when it takes 2 years for the team of engineers plus everything else they're working on, there's always new products in the works. But we can't tell you about the future because, this is the present.
Right. Also, this time of year, we've kind of just released all of our new stuff, and the stuff we have coming is still in its, infancy, so to speak. A little too early to speak on that. But exciting new stuff, the Key LOC and the Key 500.1 are both brand new. Some of those have not even hit the streets yet. So that's definitely new and upcoming for those that, follow us closely.
Okay. And we do have a question coming in from Scott, who is asking, are you going to be coming out with a standalone DSP? We'll do what it takes to remain competitive, and I don't want to really speak any further than that. Fair enough. Ken, what would you recommend? Okay, so say I just went out and bought a new car, not very happy with the basic setup. I don't need something extreme that's going to shake my windows, and I need to hear 3 blocks away. But I want something that it's an improvement over the over any factory system. What would you kind of recommend for those? Just kind of, they want more, but not exuberant.
For sure. First off, to address the, I don't need a loud system that you can hear 3 blocks away. A lot of people that aren't really familiar with subwoofers tend to think that. And like Aaron said, even most home theater systems, they come with a subwoofer. So a subwoofer is a great start to a well-rounded integrated system. So a single 10 is plenty. The downfire enclosures that I mentioned at the beginning of the session is a great solution for that. You don't have to give up a lot of your daily life space, a lot of your storage space in your vehicle to get some great, well-rounded, deep sound in it. And again, you're not trying to shake the rearview mirror or anything crazy like that, but it does give you some bold, clean sounding type bass. And also, if you have an outboard subwoofer, you can then generally limit the bass sent to your door speakers and help clean those up as well. So you can even, if you didn't want to replace the factory speakers or something like that, starting with a subwoofer is a great starting point. And then from there, replace them with maybe the new KF speakers, and then maybe one of those 5-channel amps that Aaron mentioned, the KX 800.5.
Okay, excellent. All right.
Raymond, can I just add what Ken just said?
Sure.
Ken left the door open perfectly for me to talk about the Key LOC, a product we just launched last week. I think it was last Friday it started shipping. And to people that are maybe a little bit newer to car audio and they're not familiar with what the original equipment manufacturers, OEM, are doing, there's a lot of stock systems, even in base level cars, that already have DSP, digital signal processing, on board. And when you start changing out speakers and adding subwoofers and additional amplifiers, if you don't have a clean output signal, nothing you can do or nothing you can add will sound great because the signal is already being processed. So the Key LOC takes that factory already processed signal, unprocesses it, and then gives you a clean starting point into your new amplifiers and speakers. So if someone is looking to do their own installation at home, if you have no idea what you're doing, start with a high quality Key LOC or a similar product, because you want to be sure that what you're putting into your amplifiers and speakers starts clean and fresh. Otherwise, you're not going to be happy with the sound no matter what you do. So that's a critical component to the quality of any audio system. For
sure. There's a lot of factory head units. Pretty much any modern factory head unit, either they're going to roll off the bass to protect those factory speakers. Maybe they have some sort of wild factory EQ curve that you can't necessarily tinker with all that much. So the Key LOC is a great starting point to help level the playing field. So then you can go and then install any aftermarket products you want afterwards.
So installation-wise, would that be about as close to a plug and play as you can get? Just kind of remove the original factories and then put those in with like minimal effort?
Right. The Key LOC is a great starting point for that. As far as plug and play, we've made it to where it's an auto setup type situation. So once you have it installed, speaker wires in one side, RCA's out of the other side, it then goes through an auto setup process. So you don't need to, plug in a laptop and know how to work a DSP and what filter should I apply when or anything like that. You let it do its thing. It takes about 5 minutes to run through, and it'll output a perfectly flat, full range signal from 20 hertz all the way to 20 kilohertz. So that whole range of human hearing. So it makes it, like I said, a level playing field. So then you can install whatever you want downstream.
Wonderful. Now then, for what I was when I said minimal, now what about the opposite? So if somebody really wants to bust it up and like they really want to hear something for blocks away, what would you recommend?
Well, if they're looking to hear from blocks away, we do have a new product out. It's called the Quad Box, the Kicker Quad Box. That is 4 12-inch L7R subwoofers in one enclosure. It's a very large vented enclosure. Comes with a large flared vent, tuned to 31 hertz. The box is constructed out of birch ply. So for those that don't know the ins and outs, birch ply is a little stronger, a little lighter than MDF, and the top and bottom of that box is double stacked. 3/4 inch birch, but it's double stacked. So we're talking inch and a half front baffle and bottom as well. And then the interior is braced extremely well. So between every woofer, there's what's called a window frame brace, and then the corners and sides are braced as well. So that box is built like a tank. Has an enormous vent, and it's when it comes to kind of a grab and go prefab enclosure, it's like no other. It really is. And of course, that'll pair up real well with our KXA line of amplifiers. The KXA 2400.1 would pair right to that.
Okay. Now, have you sold many of those things? That sounds incredibly large.
They're brand new. They're brand new. So we have a lot of pre-orders, and we've just, I think, started shipping a couple of them. Actually, I think our president, Mr. Steve Irby, is going to be hand signing the first, is it 100, Aaron?
I think it's 100, yes. And we're going to do it on Facebook Live.
Right. So we're going to Facebook Live him signing the first 100. And I think that is that this week? Is that this Friday or?
Today's Thursday. I hope not, because I'm taking tomorrow off.
Oh, okay. Well, let's put it extremely soon. We'll be doing a live event, which he'll be signing the first 100 that go out the door. So they haven't really shipped yet, but we do have a ton of pre-orders.
Wow. I mean, yeah. So like, do you any estimation on delivery date, like when those might be getting ready, or
Aaron, you probably know better than I do on that.
So they are in our warehouse. We just received them. And when we get a new product like this, we do 100% quality assurance. Mm-hmm. So every single one of these is going to be unpackaged, hooked up, and tested. Because when you purchase this product from Kicker, you want to guarantee that it's going to pound the first time around. Mm-hmm. So we do 100% QC. So once they go through QC, then Mr. Irby is going to sign the first 100, and then they'll be shipped out.
Okay, and I'm assuming that's something you probably want to have professionally installed.
You need 2 really big dudes and then 2 more to lift it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think they talked about shipping weight on that thing, 160 pounds, right in there. I was
about to ask, how heavy is this thing?
Yeah, it's a beast. And like Andy's saying there on Facebook, it's not so much a prefab as it is custom built for those L7Rs. And that's a great way to put it. I mean, this box is like no other, mass-produced box ever out there. Not only is it's made of birch ply, it's braced heavily. Those are 2 things right there you generally do not get with a standard prefab box. So this is something that we've designed to be grab and go, but yet truly next level from anything else out there.
Fantastic. I cannot wait to see that. And I'm sure I'll do a review on that as well, because that seems like a really cool product that our customers would enjoy. I'd like to then, I guess, open up to you guys. Is there anything you want your customers to know?
Aaron?
Wow. How much time do we have?
As much time as we need.
Well, first of all, we very much appreciate our customers. Kicker is a family-owned business. We started back in 1973 right here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. And we didn't actually start as a car stereo company. Mr. Steve Irby was in a band called Moses. And they were a local act, and they actually do have an album. We've got it hanging on the wall downstairs in our offices. But Kicker was not started to be what it is today. It was started as a hobby. It was a way to make enough money to fund the band, because anyone who's ever been in a band knows you don't make money in a band for a long time. So the band was like the day job, and then the weekend job was building speakers and selling them to other bands and to churches and to concerts and theaters and stuff like that. And it wasn't until 1980 when we actually got into the car stereo business. And the way it happened is pretty cool. Right here in Oklahoma, there's a small town called Canton, a couple hours from here. And there was a car stereo shop there. And the owner of that car stereo shop had a lot of customers that worked in oil fields. Because if you don't know about Oklahoma, we've got tons of oil. We got more cows than people too, but that's a whole nother topic. So these oil field workers, they all drove pickup trucks and they wanted great sound. Well, back in 1980, there wasn't any solution for that. So the retailer came to Mr. Irby because he had known him from his band, and he said, "Hey, can you design something that'll fit in a pickup truck and give great full range sound?" And Steve said, "Well, yeah, that's easy. He just designed and built a PA type cabinet that fit behind the seat of a pickup truck." So if you've ever seen the picture of it, it's got horn tweeters on the top of the box, and then it's got 2 6.5-inch drivers on the sides, and then in the middle is an 8-inch passive radiator. And like Ken talked about earlier, passive radiator is kind of like a passive subwoofer, but it doesn't have a voice coil or a magnet or any moving parts except the cone itself. And it just resonates or vibrates in reaction to the woofers in the sides, the 6-inch woofers. And you put this thing behind the seat of a pickup truck, and holy cow, an amazing amount of bass and clarity and high quality sound coming out of this box behind the seat. And it just took off like crazy. And so from 1980 till 2020, here we are, 47 years later, car stereo is our main gig. And so, again, thank you to our guys like Andy McGill, who's online here. I can see him over here in my chat box. He's been a huge supporter of ours, but our customers are who have made us what we are today. And so we're very grateful to them. And Mr. Irby still comes to work every day. He just bought the whole company lunch today. We had tacos. Thank you, Mr. Irby. And so it's really a family-run, family-owned company, and we just happen to build a great product for our wonderful customers. So that's who we are, and thanks for that opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, do you see more sales for? I mean, I don't know even if you would even know. Do you see a lot more truck sales these days, or is it kind of average?
Well, the best-selling car in America is a truck, right, Ken?
Absolutely true. So in the past, 7, 8, 10 years, even pickup trucks have just skyrocketed, and then your average sedan or economy car is really kind of tanked.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's even like in a 4-door pickup, there's still not an awful lot of room in there. I mean, so
Right.
I could see why like a lot of the Hideaways and the downfire would be very popular for the truck industry, especially the pickup truck industry.
Yep, they absolutely are. So the Hideaway is a great solution, but if you want more bass than that, the downfire solutions are fantastic for you. They're for anybody trying to look at them on our website, kicker.com. It's the TRTP enclosures.
Yep, and then those are also available on our website, blackedition.cc. All right, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you so much for going live with me today.
No problem.
I think it was absolutely fantastic. And like I said, we have many of the Kicker products available online. And I guess that's pretty much it. So thank you again, guys.
Thanks, Layman. Appreciate the time today.
Thanks for having us.
Yep, absolutely, guys. You take care and you have a good one.
You too.